Saturday nights. Waiting in the front yard, sitting on a log, a single shot rifle and a one-eyed dog. Gotta come up in folk.
How y'all are? Comment ça va? My name is Jenny Gray, and I am live coming to you from Lafayette, Louisiana. If you don't know where Lafayette is, it's deep south Louisiana, about an hour northwest of New Orleans. So I'm just super happy and grateful to be here. I am direct to the awesome John Paul Vetter in the Chris Menefee, Scott Mank, Jacob Hogue, and Marshall Wayland hierarchy. That's a mouthful. So as I said, I'm super grateful and blessed to be on this call today. And I just wanted to also just express my sincere appreciation to our founders, Brandon, Casey, and Brian, for putting their sweat and tears and love into this company and just building this incredible opportunity for all of us to just succeed and realize our dreams. It's amazing. So sincere appreciation. Also wanted to mention and just ask everyone to continue their prayers for the family of Matt Smith. Just an incredible person. I didn't know him personally, but he definitely inspired me from the stage, from his speeches at conferences, all of the trainings that he has done. Just an incredible person. He contributed quite a bit, obviously, as you know, to this company, and his memory will live on here for many years to come. So just continue your prayers for their family. So today we'll just get right into it. I wanted to talk a little bit about a subject that I personally have experienced, and it is getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. Okay, so everyone on this call right now is in a different stage of their journey here at Symmetry. Maybe you're just studying for your insurance license right now. That material is tough, let me tell you. Maybe you just bought your first set of leads this week, and maybe you're jumping on the phones today to start dialing. Or maybe you have your first set of appointments that you're going to be running this week. For me, I'm actually at the end of this month, hopefully going to be starting that debt-free life training. And I know that's going to make me feel uncomfortable. That's some advanced stuff. So point being, though, no matter where you are on this call, you have to realize that in order to grow, you have to feel the uncomfortableness of learning something new and push right through it. Do the thing that makes you feel uncomfortable, because guess what? If you're not doing the thing that you're supposed to do, what are you doing? You're procrastinating. And procrastination it makes you stagnant. And in this business, we can't be stagnant. We have to be moving forward. We have to be building the momentum to break through and accomplish what we need to accomplish. Success here at Symmetry is a byproduct of personal growth. And I'll say that again. Our success with this company, with this amazing opportunity, is a byproduct of our own personal growth. And that's why I believe that personal growth is one of the cornerstones of this company, because we, in all areas of our lives, not just our business areas, but in all the different areas of our lives, we have to continue growing in order to be successful. So how do we develop that? What do we do to develop our own personal growth? Well, a huge thing here is reading, daily investing in yourself, putting good information, good food into your brain so that we can develop a great mindset. Another thing are plugging into these calls, right? The sales training calls. I'm on them every single Monday. The Wednesday national calls, yeah, they're long. They're 2-hour calls, sometimes even longer, but you just never know what little piece of information that you're going to get, what you're going to glean from someone's wisdom that could catapult you in this business 6 months, even a year in advance. So plug into the calls, and of course your team calls, plug into those as well. That's going to get you where you need to go. That's going to help you to grow personally. And then of course the last thing as far as how to develop your personal growth is national conference. All of these conferences, guys, so important. I attended the virtual conference and that was great, but I just came off of last month our Wayland altitude conference. It was amazing. 2 days of just intense training, information. I know I grew leaps and bounds from that conference. So if you haven't planned on going to Denver, definitely invest in yourself and do it. That's going to help you grow tremendously in this business. And so I just wanted to mention two books that really made a huge difference in my growth here. And they're mentioned a lot, but I would be remiss in bringing them up at this opportunity. The first book I wanted to share with you, if you haven't gotten it yet, you've got to get this book. It's called Failing Forward by John Maxwell. And the whole concept behind this book is just fantastic. So most of us have grown up with the idea that failing is a bad thing and succeeding is absolutely what we want to do. But what this book kind of explains is, of course, success is our ultimate goal. But in order to succeed, we have to fail, and we have to fail a lot, because when we fail, we learn. We learn what we have done wrong and we apply it to the next time. And then eventually we become successful. And there are a couple of excerpts I wanted to read out of this book because I could not possibly paraphrase them any better than what the author John Maxwell says. The first one is this: to conquer fear, you have to feel the fear and take action anyway. That's so good. To conquer fear, you have to feel the fear and take action anyway. Do you know what I'm talking about? That fear, the first time you sat down to make your phone calls and you felt like your heart was beating out of your chest because you were just so nervous. You got to feel that. And then you got to do it anyway. That's the only way to move from uncomfortable to comfortable. And then the second thing I wanted to read is also extremely powerful. It says, the process of achievement comes through repeated failures and the constant struggle to climb to a higher level. Most people will grudgingly concede that they must make it through some adversity in order to succeed. They'll acknowledge that they have to experience the occasional setback to make progress. But I believe that success comes only if you take that thought one step further. To achieve your dreams, you must embrace adversity and make failure a regular part of your life. That's crazy, isn't it? It's so good. If you're not failing, you're probably not really moving forward. Okay? So, failing forward and fail forward fast. The second book I want to bring up is one that is constantly being referenced here at Symmetry, in our Symmetry family, and that is The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. An incredible book. And the whole concept behind this book talks about the little choices that we make on a daily basis, not the big grandeur choices or actions, but the little choices that we make on a daily basis, compounded over time. We're not talking about an overnight thing. We're talking about compounded over a period of time is what takes us up the success path or down the failure path. And there are a couple of things that are just juicy little nuggets I wanted to read here. And these two books, they go hand in hand. I mean, they really do. The formula for success is quite simple. Double your rate of failure. That's a quote by Thomas J. Watson, Sr., founder of IBM. The formula for success is quite simple. double your rate of failure. So don't be afraid of failure, because the more you fail, the faster you're going to succeed. Fail forward fast. The second thing I wanted to read is to understand patience, to understand that little steps compounded do make a difference. That the things you do every single day, the things that don't look dramatic, that don't even look like they matter, do matter. That they not only make a difference, they make all the difference. It's having faith in the process of simple, positive actions repeated over time, the faith that miracles do happen if you know when to trust the process and keep churning the cream. That's that little metaphor about churning the cream. The little mouse at the bottom of the milk bucket keeps paddling and paddling and paddling to stay afloat, and then all of a sudden he makes cream. That's what he's referring to. So 2 fantastic, great books. I highly recommend getting those books. And something else too, don't read them just once and put them back on the shelf. Read them over and over and over again, because the first time you read them, yeah, you're going to pull out some really important, meaningful concepts that you can apply to your life. But guess what? The second time you read them, you're going to get something completely different, and you're going to build on the knowledge, build on the concepts, and you're just going to grow and grow and grow. So I wanted to mention those 2 books because I just feel very strongly that everyone here needs to have those 2 books in their libraries. So let's talk a little bit about what makes us feel uncomfortable and how we can move closer to being more comfortable with that. And I'll just tell you briefly a little bit about me. So I haven't been with Symmetry very long. Actually, I found this opportunity in November of 2020. I started my first full week. I think it was halfway through the month of 2020. So, you know, I had no idea what the insurance business was. I came from background of owning an ad agency for years and then getting into the fashion business. And if somebody told me I was going to be selling insurance in 2020, I would have said, you're crazy. I don't like anything about insurance. But I did find this opportunity. I was so blessed to have been the one that answered John Paul Vetter's ad in ZipRecruiter. And I have the most amazing mentor. I can't even imagine having found this business or this opportunity through anyone else. He has taught me so much. And a lot of this information that I'm going to share here is directly from him. So let's get with it. Let's talk about, you know, what is it that makes us feel uncomfortable? Well, the number one thing that everyone talks about is the dialing, right? I love the Jacob Pogue story that he always talks from stage about, is that when he first got into this business, that he was extremely just freaked out by picking up the phones, and that he would procrastinate for weeks on end and just not be able to pick up the phones. And look at him. I mean, I can't even imagine that this man who has been such a success in this company, such an idol to me, was at one point afraid to make a phone call. So, but anyway, it is uncomfortable. It is uncomfortable when you're first starting to jump in and start dialing. And why is it? Why is it so uncomfortable for us? Well, in my opinion, I think it's just the fear of the unknown, not knowing who is going to pick up the phone, who is going to be on the other side of the phone, and what that might look like, and how that might feel to us if it happens to not be a great situation. But what I have found is that most people are developing a story in their heads before they even make the phone call. And usually it's a negative story. You know, this person doesn't want to talk to me. Why would they want to talk to me? I hope I don't catch them at a bad time, or, whatever the situation is. But it's projected stories that we implant in our heads that make us feel so uncomfortable about dialing that phone. But what if we changed that story? What if we made the story be, these people need to talk to me. These people raised their hands. They actually filled out that form and mailed it back, or they called in asking for this information. It's my job to give it to them. And we don't know what their personal situation could be like. You know, if it does end up being an uncomfortable call or a bad call, I mean, I don't think any call is a bad call, but maybe it's just something that's going on in their life today. They woke up on the wrong side of the bed. They don't feel well, whatever, and it made them act the way that they do. We can't take those calls personally. But what if we actually get someone on the phone that really, really needs our help, and we are able to help them? How great is that? Was it worth it? Was it worth making that one additional phone call to find the person that actually does need our help? That's what we're here for, guys. That's what we're here for. So what else makes us feel uncomfortable? I know when I first started dialing, I was afraid of just messing it up, you know, just getting the script wrong or whatever. I did my best to memorize the script, you know, from the beginning, but I needed my cheat sheets. You know, I needed my script sitting there so that in case I did mess up, I can just go right back to the script, right? But you know, that's why when we start this business, we buy bonus leads, is because we're cutting our teeth and trying to get better. And yeah, we're probably going to have to make 30 or 40 contacts and actually run through the script with that many people in order to start feeling more comfortable on the phones and putting our own personality into the best script. So definitely put the time in and put the dials in to start feeling more comfortable so that you don't feel like you're going to mess up the script. Another reason why people, I think, feel uncomfortable about dialing is their fear of objections. And in Quility U, there's a complete section there that will teach you about how to overcome objections, which is great because, you know, we are going to get objections sometimes. But I just wanted to throw out something to you that, that my mentor, John Paul, told me at one point. And that is, you know, how hard do you want to fight to overcome those objections? Because sometimes it's an easy objection and it can be, you know, just a matter of saying one or two things. But do we really want to spend 15 minutes on the phone trying to overcome objections when we have a whole stack of other people that we need to be calling? Sometimes you're just not going to be able to change people's minds. Sometimes they are just so firmly have their heels dug in that they don't need this or don't want this, that you just have to learn when to move on, which I think is a really important thing to recognize. Not that overcoming objections is not important. I'm not saying that, and please don't come back at me on that. I'm just saying that sometimes it's really hard to change the minds of the people that don't want the help. Let's talk about older leads. We kind of brazed on that a minute ago, but older leads can be challenging because those bonus leads can be years old, but for some reason, no one was able to help them. Well, we don't know why that was. We don't know whether it might have been a personality conflict between the person calling and the family that they're calling. We don't know whether you know, the agent could not find anything that would fit their budget. There are just so many different reasons that we don't know why they are still hanging out there as bonus leads. But like I said, it's very important to start with the bonus leads so that you can get comfortable with the script. And actually, my first week or so, I did set about 15 appointments on 50-cent leads. So it's not impossible to do. You can do it. The trick is, though, that you want to get out of the bonus leads as quickly as you can, because what happens is you tend to spend so much time calling those leads and setting the appointments, when really what you want to be doing is spending the majority of your time running the appointments and not spending all of your time just setting appointments. So as soon as you can start investing in yourself and investing in in fresher leads, the better off you're going to be as far as being able to actually help the families. So let's talk a little bit about what I call dial styles, because everybody approaches the dialing differently. Okay, so I've broken this down into 2 different types of dial styles. The first style I have kind of labeled is what I call the knock it out dial style. Those are the people who they want to sit down maybe twice a week and for a long period of time, and they just want to knock it out, get all of their appointments set in 2 dialing sessions. And it could be several hours that they sit down. If that works for you, then great. Embrace it, do whatever you need to do to get yourself psyched up and ready to make those dials, whether it's getting some exercise, or maybe it's listening to some spa music in the background, getting something to eat, and have your water with you, whatever you need to do, motivational tapes, whatever. The second type of dial style is my type, though, and that is the consistent everyday dialing. Okay, so, and it's more of a slight edge approach, I would say, and that is dialing daily, but not having to sit down for hours on end every day. I dial pretty much every day for at least an hour, and I vary my times of the day. I'll dial sometimes in the morning, I'll dial some in the afternoon. I always try to fit some evening dialing in because, of course, there are going to be those families that can't answer the phone during the day due to work or whatever. So whatever your dial style is, acknowledge it, because you don't want to fight the style. I mean, you got to pick the one that best fits your personality, but then stick to it. Stick to the script. Another thing that I wanted to mention about the dial style is that you have to go for the no. You have to go for the no. And I know everybody's heard this before. Put the Teflon suit on. Let all the negativity roll off of you. Remember, it's a numbers game. It is a numbers game. And the metrics, the metric sheet that we had in the training, it's pretty spot on. So like I said, the fresher the leads, the better the leads that you buy, the less time that you're going to be spending on the phone and dialing. All right, the next thing that makes us feel uncomfortable is actually running appointments, right? So what makes us so uncomfortable about running the appointments? Well, the thing that made me feel the most uncomfortable about jumping in and actually running an appointment is that I just did not feel like I was an expert. I didn't feel like I was an expert in insurance. I didn't know every product. I didn't know all the carriers that I was contracted with. And I was nervous about it. I felt very insecure about that. And what my mentor told me, John Paul, is that I am an expert. Actually, I'm much more of an expert than the person that I'm talking to on the phone, because I am a licensed agent. So even though I don't know everything about every product, I know enough to know that I can help that family. And so in that regard, I am an expert. And of course, as we go and as we collect the information for each family, their health issues and all of that stuff, while we're preparing for those appointments, that's when we really do become the expert, because we're calling the carriers. We're going through a risk assessment. We're learning different things about different illnesses and what's going to fly and what's not going to fly on an application. It's doing the work that makes us become the experts. So all of you out there who have not run an appointment yet, and you're getting bogged down and trying to memorize agent guides and products and all of that stuff, stop. Don't do that. Don't do that. Jump in and learn it as you go, case by case, and you will become an expert. Again, the slight edge, doing the little things every day consistently. And that's a perfect example. Let's talk about some other things that makes us uncomfortable about running appointments. I mentioned my cheat sheets. Okay, I was extremely worried about missing a step, in the real script. not hitting on something that I knew I was supposed to hit on. And so now that we're on Zoom, we don't have to worry about not having our notes in front of us. We can have all kinds of things all over the place, anything that can help us to get through our call. And one of the things that I felt the most uncomfortable about that really helped me with these cheat sheets is asking the really tough questions, asking those why questions. And there's so many great SoundCloud recordings out there. If you have not listened to them, please do yourself a favor, take some time and listen to them, because it's the questions that we ask that basically help us close the sale, because we have to uncover what is the reason. Why are you looking into this? What was your greatest concern? And then digging down in there and learning how to feel a little bit uncomfortable about asking those questions. Once I started asking the questions, things started changing for me. My close ratios became so much better. So I encourage you to go ahead and ask those questions. Another thing that I believe it can be uncomfortable that you kind of need to lean into and get over is sharing your story. If you have a story, why was it that made you feel so passionate about helping these families? Maybe something happened in your past that really rang a bell with you. If you don't have a story, you hear this all of the time, borrow a story. Doesn't mean that you have to lie about your own experience. You can just say that this is something that happened to someone I know, and it really freaked me out, and it really made me realize how important this is. And that's why I am passionate about what I do. And then another little tip that I learned probably from one of those SoundCloud calls is how to transition into their why. Once you talk about, this is why I do what I do, and I feel very passionate about it, then you move into, but this isn't about me. This is about you and your family, and how can I best help and serve you? So let's talk about that. Let's talk about why you filled out that form. What was it that you were hoping to accomplish with this type of coverage? That type of language it helps to transition into that emotion. So don't feel uncomfortable about that. Just move right into it. Help them paint a picture of what their life, what their family's life might be like if they didn't have the income of the one that's going to be insured. Go down that road. What would have you considered this? Have you put a plan in place? Have you ever thought about what this might look like? Paint that picture. And then I'm going to wrap up here because I know that we're almost done here. But the other thing I wanted to mention is the usage of the critical period / equity protection strategy. And it is a lot of the real seasoned sellers will say that this is probably 60, 70, even 80% of the types of policies that they write is based on the critical period or equity protection strategies. And the one thing that I did learn, and I'll just I don't know if this is something that you guys have experienced before or not, but the questions that we ask, those financial questions and the emotional questions, will really uncover whether or not that is a viable strategy for our family. Because sometimes it's not. Sometimes when you ask those questions, what you'll realize is that by providing them with enough money for mortgage payments until they get their house sold, might not be the best option for them, because they already have a savings account, or they already have an investment, or they already have another policy that they'd forgotten about, or whatever, that could provide them with enough mortgage payments. So my point being that it is a great option if it is necessary, but it's not always going to be the solution. And it's up to us to ask those questions and be willing to realize that sometimes we can't help the families. Sometimes, either they can't afford the coverage, they don't qualify for the coverage, or maybe they just don't need the coverage. So we have to be willing to understand that that we can't help every single family. But you know what we can do is we can leave every family that we talk to in a better place than they were before we talked to them. And that means, you know, whatever that looks like, if we can offer them, you know, a word of encouragement or leave them in a better mood than they were before they talked to us on the phone or on the Zoom call. That's what it's really all about. It's about connecting with people. It's about, you know, blessing people in whatever way that we can on a daily basis. So I'm going to leave it there, guys. I hope that you picked up something meaningful and useful out of what we talked about today. Go out there and make it a fantastic day, a fantastic week, and appreciate your attention and your time. And see you later.